Today I wanted to show you how to make faux fur pom-poms. So this is one that I made for a hat, and I need another one, so I thought I would walk you through how to make them. So the first thing you're going to need is your faux fur. I got this at Hobby Lobby, and then also Joann's has some really good deals. It's best to catch them when they're on sale. And then you'll also, for the size that I use, I found this 6x6 cutting block at Hobby Lobby, and it's actually perfect. So I go ahead and I cut my faux fur into these 6x6 squares. You'll also need some scissors that cut fabric really well, and some embroidery thread, and then you'll need a needle, and you're going to need one that's sharp enough to go through this the backing of this fur. I found these at Michael's. This is a set of repair needles, and I have found that number 3, which is the canvas needle, works really, really well for this. And then you'll also need some polyfill. I also like to make mine removable from my hats. So if you wanted to do that as well, you would just need some cord stops that I found at Hobby Lobby, and some, I just got some paracord number 95 in black, and I use that to make it removable. Or you can just use the embroidery thread and tie it in, whatever you choose. So to get started with our pom-poms, we are going to flip it over, and faux fur makes an absolute mess, as you can see. One of the ways that I have found to make a little bit less of a mess is to make sure that you're just cutting this backing of the fabric. So you're going to just make like a slit in the backing and then just kind of run your scissors underneath, instead of cutting through the whole layer of fur, if that makes sense. And I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So you're going to start with your square. This is your 6x6 square, and then we're going to cut it into a circle. So I just go to the edge. It doesn't have to be perfect, and I basically am just cutting the corners off. And again, I am just cutting that just the backing, not the fur. See, this is still intact. So you're basically just going to cut the corners off and make it into a circle. And it's still gonna make a little bit of a mess, but it does seem to help. So go all the way around. Again, it does not have to be perfect. But I like to, these are kind of a bigger pom-pom. You can do this with any size square. But I really like this for adult size hats. And again, if you want to make them smaller, you would just do the same thing with a smaller square. So we're back at the beginning for our circle. From this point, I like to flip it over and just kind of brush that loose fur around the edge off, just so you're not dealing with it while you're trying to make your pom-pom. You're still going to have some, but at least you get the majority of it off. Okay, and from here, you're going to take your embroidery thread and cut a long piece. This is actually perfect for the size that I need, so I don't have to cut it. But no specific length, just a longer piece to make sure that it'll go all the way around. And then you're going to grab your needle. Again, I like the canvas needle in that repair kit, and you're going to thread it through one end of your needle, and then match the two ends up and pull it into the center. I do not knot this, I leave this open. I guess you could, I just don't. And then I found that it's helpful to start from the fur side. That way when you're gathering it at the end, this doesn't flip out. So poke your needle through, and you're just going to leave an end about like this length. So don't pull it all the way through. And then you're just gonna keep weaving your needle back and forth about, I don't know, quarter, half an inch, all the way around your circle. So it'll look like this when you get all the way around. And try and stay close to the edge, but you don't want to go so close that the fabric rips and your your string comes apart. See how far I am from the edge. Again, you're just going to continue to do this all the way around your circle. These pom-poms are so easy and way cheaper than buying them, for sure. If you, depending on where you get your faux fur from, I've gotten anywhere from like 20 to 30-ish out of a yard. So if you get it on sale, that makes them pretty cheap. Okay, I'm back to where I started. Now I want to make sure that I go back through so that my string ends up on the outside as well. So you have both of your ends together on the outside. From here, I take both of my ends and start to cinch it together. I don't want to pull it all the way together yet though, just enough to get it started, because now I'm going to stuff this with my polyfill. My polyfill, you can stuff these as little or as much as you like. It's really a preference thing of how firm you want them. That looks good. And then we're going to continue to cinch it shut. So pull it as tight as you can. This is why you want to make sure that you're doing this with a strong thread, because some strings will break when you get to this point. So then I take both of my ends and I like to tie it once and then really pull it closed, and then kind of put my finger there to hold it together and then make a second knot. And you can actually do that a couple times just to make sure that it's together. And then sometimes you can still kind of feel a little bit of a hole there. So what I like to do, and it's just because the fabric's so thick, what I actually like to do is take my needle and kind of run a couple stitches across to pull it together, just for added security. And you're not going to be able to see this, so this will actually be the bottom that attaches to your hat. Okay, so I did that a couple times across, and then I just like to go back one more time. And do a couple knots just to be safe. Now, if you were going to tie them in, or tie this into your hat, then your pom-pom would be done. You could use this to tie it into your hat. If you want to make it removable, I cut these off here. And again, this will be on the inside of your hat, so this is what your pom-pom will look like, and you will not see this. From here, you will take a little piece of paracord. You can always trim it later, but it doesn't have to be super long. Your cord stop. You're going to need a needle that has a big enough hole to put your paracord through. This needle was also in this pack. It was number 2, if you get this one from Michael's. Okay, and then I take my needle with my paracord in it, and I just kind of push it through both sides. And it can be kind of tricky because the paracord is thick. Okay. And then your pom-pom will look like this. Okay. Then you're going to take your hat, the top of your hat, and you're going to thread your string, one end of your pom-pom string. And this is the key to making your hats, or the pom-poms on your hats, not floppy. You want to do one end of your string, this is the center hole, one end of the string on this side, and pull it through. Unthread it from your needle and thread the other side. And then you're going to do it on the other side of the hole. So see, this is where our other one is. This is the center hole. You want to do it across from there. And then that will keep your pom-pom from being floppy. Okay, so our pom-pom is strung on. See how it's across the hat. Then you're going to take your cord stopper and string in both ends of your string. Mine's starting to fray. I will burn the ends at the end so that they won't fray. Okay, so both strings are attached, and then you just cinch it all the way up to the top of your hat. And there's your pom-pom attached to the hat. And again, I will go in here and trim up these edges, or the ends. And then I'll just burn these, or melt these, not burn them. Melt them just enough so that they don't fray. And making these removable allows them to take them off to wash their hats. There you have it. I hope that was helpful. Check back later for more tutorials.